As you may remember, in April 2021, Ottawa unilaterally declared that plastic manufactured items are toxic under the Canadian Environmental Protection Act. Not only did they ignore reality, but once again, they ignored the law in doing so. Thankfully, last month, the Federal Court of Canada found the government's actions to be unreasonable and unconstitutional. The court recognized that allowing this overreach would enable Ottawa to regulate nearly every aspect of the economy, upsetting the balance of federalism in Canada. It's another useful reminder that the provinces are not subordinate to the central government. The provinces are partners in Confederation, and we ought to be treated as such. This message has really been driven home by the courts this year, here and in the Supreme Court's decision on the Impact Assessment Act. Unfortunately, it's clear from Ottawa's appeal of the federal court's decision that the lesson isn't sinking in, and more reminders are necessary. So Alberta will keep standing up for what's right. And in this case, what's right is the fact that plastics aren't actually toxic. If they were, they wouldn't be in nearly every product in the economy. And Alberta can't regulate, and Ottawa can't regulate whatever it wants by arbitrarily classifying something as a toxic substance. But we shouldn't be surprised by this, which should come as no surprise to Ottawa, that we intend to continue pushing back on their unreasonable and unconstitutional orders. We were interveners in the original case, and we will stay involved throughout the appeals process.
Alberta's position is that the federal government far exceeded its constitutional jurisdiction by designating plastics as toxic. The category of plastic manufactured items is so broad that to allow the federal government to regulate them would be to allow the federal government to regulate essentially every single aspect of the modern economy. Imagine the disturbing impact that this federal policy had on every single industry that relies on manufactured plastics. Simply put, this overreach upsets the very balance of federalism in Canada. And that is why we are pleased that the federal court recognized this, but we are disappointed that the federal government chose to appeal.
Drinking straws and grocery bags are not the same as mercury or asbestos. The federal government cannot assume regulatory authority over any substance it chooses simply by designating that substance as toxic. This order was unconstitutional on the day it was written, and we will absolutely win this fight. But let me be clear, this isn't about plastics. Ottawa knows their plastics bans are about virtue signaling and not actually about fixing the problems. They know that this federal designation negatively impacts Alberta's economy, and they know that plastics are important in the economy. That's why they joined us in supporting Dow's new Path to Zero facility in Fort Saskatchewan. Yet, they refuse to listen to the courts and to Canadians. So we will help take them to court, and like I said, we will win.